Hello everyone and welcome along to another light in the TGP1 series. This is season 34 and it's rounds 17 and 18 tonight. I can't believe we're that far into the season already. What a cracking season it has been so far. We have got the Russian Grand Prix round the Sochi Autodrome for you tonight, as well as the Japanese Grand Prix round Suzuka International Race Course. Just trying to see if anyone's on a flying lap at the moment. In the early part of the session, we've got about 7 minutes to go. We've got CJ on a flying lap in the Alfa Romeo. But I'd like to welcome Dom into the commentary box. How are you, Dom?
Hello, Owen. Hello, everyone. We're into the final 3 weeks then, and 51 points is the difference between our 4 title contenders. Kyle still leading the way with his supreme consistency. Only won 2 races all season, but how crucial have those wins been? Tonight, a really important stage of the season for Dan, Corey and Matt, so will get themselves closer to Kyle's tally and their attempt to chase him down and overtake him in these closing weeks. And already Matt Tibbles is out of qualifying. He's second at the moment in his Renault, but a crash just moments ago. We are expecting rain in the next 5 minutes, so the drivers have gone out early to set their times. Matt Tibbles pushing too hard, crashed as he finished his lap, so he did get it in. He probably lost a bit of time, but he crossed the line and crashed into the barriers. Matt Tibbles will start no higher than P2, but it's good at the moment because championship leader Kyle is currently down in 16th, yet to get a lap in. Corey is currently in 14th, but on a lap I believe, so Corey could well go pole with this lap time.
Yes, he is. Corey is on a flying lap. He's got about a tenth quicker in that first sector compared to his previous best. Currently down in 14th. Like you said, I'm just trying to see if there's anyone else further up the road actually on a flying lap at the moment. And no, there is not. No, there isn't. So Corey will be the next car to cross the line, I believe. Actually, yeah, Corey will be the next car across the line as he comes through this middle sector now. Down the back straight, the second of the DRS zones on this circuit. He's only another 10th up in that middle sector compared to what he previously done. So he's not on for that great of a lap. He must have lost all his time on that first run, on his last lap, Dom.
Yeah, he did. Not an ideal time so far, but Corey, this will be his first real lap time that he set all session. That current time of 1:33.4 is a bit slower. He's diving into the pit lane for a new set of tyres, so he doesn't feel confident. He's going to get one more run if he's quick.
Try and
get one more lap in.
Dom.
They are. It's getting pretty dark out there, isn't it? So the drivers need to be quick with their lap times. I think Ginger Andy is just starting a lap. Can he get a final run in? Currently starting P3, a very good qualifying for him so far. We saw him get very unlucky earlier in the season at Spa with a late safety car, throwing away all this hard work. His 10-second lead washed away in the end. Failed to score a point, but Ginger Andy will be the next for the big runners, I think, to start a lap. In fact, no, Kyle, currently championship leader, down in P16. He needs to get a higher qualifying than this. He'll be praying the rain stays away for a little longer.
Yeah, Jack Hickey is also just coming up to finish a lap now in the tracing point. What's he going to do? He puts himself P3 in the tracing point, and that is a very good lap from him. I think Kyle, like you said, is probably the next one to do a lap. He's just coming through the last sector now, and he's just got the final couple of corners to go round this circuit. 16 and 17 in his Williams, and then he's got 18 and 19, the 290-degree right-handers to finish off the lap through the first one. What's he going to do through the second one, and what sort of lap time is he going to do? Crossing the line now, he's done a 31.3, and that's only P7, Dom.
That is not a good lap time. He might just get one more run in, but that is not going to fill him with confidence. Currently P7, 4th row at the grid at best at the moment. Nowhere near the times we've seen so far of Aiden. What a lap that is, a 1:30.5. We've got the McLaren of Ginger Andy coming around the final corner, but it is not going to be a lap that counts. He hasn't validated it, which means he must be going for another run if he feels he wants to start another lap, otherwise he would have dived into the pit lane. Jake Davis is 3/10 up in his Red Bull, currently P5. Can he throw himself into the works at the front? His teammate Phil Bardwell is further up the road, but is invalidated his lap time. So what can Jake do in this Red Bull, Owen?
Yeah, Jake just coming through turn 11 now and flinging himself onto this back straight that's not really straight. The John Barrowman straight, as I called it a couple of seasons ago, and it's going to maintain that name in my eyes as he heads down the straight in the Honda-powered Red Bull. What's his sector time going to be? He's still about 4 tenths up, and there's a lock-up going into turn 14 there, Dom.
Yeah, that's not good for him. After this, it will be Aiden. I can confirm that Aiden is a 10th up on his current best lap time, so Aiden is looking quick. J-Luke is not going to get a lap in, and the rain has started to fall, I believe. I've just seen a few spots of rain on my camera. I don't know if you've seen the moment, but I swear I just saw a few spots of rain.
Yeah, I've seen him as well. Jake Davis is going to get this lap in, so this shouldn't affect him too much on this run. What's his lap time going to be? Puts him P4. You said Aiden's peeled into the pit lane, so that's his session done. So anyone who's not on a flying lap now is pretty much done for, and I think that's basically everyone.
I think that might be qualifying over here. Okay, Dan's on a flyer then. He's currently down to P8, so this is not looking good for him. He's a 10th up on his current time, but the time's now surely going to be washed away in this final sector coming up. We'll see the split time of the second sector very shortly. He is still quicker.
Yeah,
he's 3/10 up. So what can he do now on this final run? This is going to be his last lap time in the session. All the drivers are now peeled back into the pit lane. Aiden was 2/10 up on his lap. So maybe he lost a bit of confidence, maybe he didn't want to risk it, maybe he thought he already had the time he needed to take pole position. Is looking very good for the Racing Point driver to be on pole here at Russia. But down the man, round the last couple of corners, where can he put his Ferrari? Currently P8, can he at least out-qualify the championship leader Kyle, who starts 7th at the moment? He goes 6th, a good time from Dan, he'll be happy with that, despite the conditions, but I think that might just be qualifying over now.
Yeah, I think that's the last of the good runs. I see Roy trying to go for another flying lap. We've got CJ actually he's about 9 thousandths up on his previous bet, down in P11. I think he's the last furthest round on a flying lap currently, so he's going to try and improve on his 31.5 currently. I don't think the grip's not looking too bad actually, looking at the onboard from Dan, and CJ didn't really have too many problems either in that last sector. So what's his time going to be? Coming across the line now, he puts himself in P10. Roy has invalidated his lap, and I think that'll be the last of the laps for the session. Yes, it will. So Corey's all the way down in 15th, Dom.
Corey starting right at the back for this race. This is not what he needed. He is currently P3 in the championship. Needed some good points here tonight to claw that gap that he currently has away from Carl. So quickly, let's go through the points, as the drivers are now not going to get any more lap times into the session. 1.5 minutes still to go. But it is Kyle in the Williams. Only won 2 races all season. Only had 8 podiums all season. But somehow, thanks to supreme consistency, leads the way with 220 points. 37 points back is Dan the Man, 4-time champion, chasing down the man looking for only his first title. Corey is 3rd, only a further 12 points back from Dan, 49 back from Kyle, and then Matt Tibbles 4th overall, 51 points behind Kyle. So 51 points the difference between those 4 drivers racing for 4 different teams with 6 races to go.
Yes, it is indeed. We've got barely any time. Corey is actually out on a flying lap. He knows he's gonna he has to do it. He's so far down the grid at the moment, down in P15. He's had really no option but to try and set a flying lap in these tricky wet conditions, Dom.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go very high with this. I'm not sure he's going to get anywhere near the time that Phil Bardwell set in P14 at the moment. He is only half a second down
on his own time.
Yeah, half a second down in the first sector, so that's not going to be finding time. I don't think he's not going to find back any more time in the second and third sectors. Also, he's probably shortly going to invalidate his lap time with the car sliding all over the place. So I think that is Corey's session done. He goes wide. Yeah, and there you go, invalidated his lap time. So that's it for Corey. And he's put himself in a wall.
Okay, so yeah, we just got Newgarden. Newgarden, I think, is he trying to go on the fly, or is he just poodling back to the pits? I think he's poodling back to the pits at this point. Jean's gone on for a flying lap. I think that's well, we've seen an interesting strategy last week from Jean, and it backfired. I think this backfiring again, trying to stay out and do another lap in this qualifying session when he's absolutely chucking it down.
Yeah, and John is now out of the session, so we just wait now for Kyle and Newgarden to retire from the session. We will be going straight through to the race. Kyle is still out there. I'm not quite sure why he feels he needs to be out there. Maybe just to get a bit of practice. We are expecting a wet race here, so maybe they want to try and get some practice on the wet roads, on the dry tyres, just in case it dries out towards the end of the race and they have to go on to the dry tyres. We saw so many great races already this season at Belgium and Zandvoort with the changeable conditions. Will we get a 3rd changeable conditions race of the season? But qualifying is complete, and Carl spins round, loses the wheel.
That'll be that.
And that does complete qualifying.
Yep, so just waiting for Newgarden to re-enter his pit box, and then we'll be done for the session. We could have a full rundown of the results, but I will tell you now that it's a very good qualifying for the Racing Points, Dom. 1st and 3rd, that is very impressive for the teams.
Yeah, and Russia, is Russia a place you want to start on pole position? I think we saw in TGP2, Jack did hold everyone back going into turn 2, but the run down to turn...
Yeah, it's a very long run down to turn 2, where the first major braking zone, turn 1, is basically a non-existent corner in these cars. Ready to go. So Aiden is on pole by just under a 10th on Matt Tibos in 2nd. We've got Jack Hickey in 3rd in the other Racing Point. Then we have Jake Davis in 4th. Ginger Andy, good qualifying for him in 5th. Dan the Man in 6th. Then we've got Jay Luke in 7th. Kyle in 8th, making it a Williams row 4. Then we have Sean and CJ making it a Williams Alfa Romeo row 5. Jovial Manatee in 11th. Iceman in 12th. Newgarden 13th. Phil Bartrow all the way down in 15th. 14th even. Very poor from the old man. Corey down in 15th with that grid penalty, so he will be starting last on the grid. And then we've got Waze and Speed Knighton to finish up the grid.
Aidan Griffin's a career 5th pole position in TGP1 puts him level with the likes of Sean McGurk and the great Welsh wizard Cuman 2008.
He is indeed. So getting ready for 13 laps round the Sochi Autodrome. Round this 5.8 kilometre circuit, or in Imperial 3.6 miles. And like you said, it's a wet session. So it looks like the guys will be starting on into tyres, as we can see, into the Mercedes garage for the time being. So this will make it very difficult. Probably a no-stop race unless it dries up, Dom.
Yeah, we're expecting the rain to stay at least for the first 50 minutes of the race, so at least the first 8 or 9 laps, in fact a bit more than that I think. So we might see the drivers pit for the soft rubber towards the end, maybe the softs or the mediums, but the likely case is there will be a no-stop, they will be starting on intermediate tyres and going to the end in this race.
It will be indeed. So we've got final few seconds, final few preparations for the drivers and the teams ready to go for TGP1 Season 34, Round 17 from the Russian Grand Prix at the Sochi Autodrome. So final few seconds as we wait for the lights. And with bated breath, the lights come on. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And the lights are out and we're away here at the Sochi Autodrome. And it looks like a decent start from the front row from Aidan. Matt Tibos has got an even better start and he's going to take the lead through turn 1, Dom.
Brilliant start of Matt Tibos, crucially getting ahead of Aidan on the run down to turn 2. Watch out for Jake as well in the background, jumping Jack Hickey. The racing points have dropped a place each. Can Aidan fight back on Matt Tibos in turn 2? They're going side by side. Is Aidan going to have the better traction going into the next corner? Looks like he will do. Fantastic from Aidan to fight back and take back that position he lost at turn 1. But Matt Tibos will have another chance to go back up the inside into the next corner. I don't think he'll risk it, not in these conditions. As you can see the background, Dan the Man getting very close to Jack Hickey. Dan the Man has to keep his car clean. Can't afford any mistakes here. Kyle down in 8th and Corey already up 3 places in 14.
Yeah, so very good start. Aidan maintains the lead after the first sector, followed by Matt Tibos in 2nd. Then we've got Jake Davis in 3rd, Jack Hickey in 4th, and Jay Luke in 5th. And there's a yellow flag at the back of the field. Looks like one of the Alfa Romeos, and I think it's CJ. So there's probably been an incident maybe with him and Newgarden.
CJ just lost the back end of his car and just unfortunately lost the traction around that corner and spun himself round, so not ideal for him. He's now at the back of the grid, already 7 seconds adrift of these drivers, but you can see Matt Tibos keeping right on the rear of that racing point of Aidan Griffin. Can he get a move into the next corner? He's looking racy. He needs the win here to close that gap to Kyle. Kyle currently down in 7th, has got through Ginger Andy. Can Matt Tibos take advantage of this slow position here for Kyle? Kyle has been so consistent all season, but the results aren't quite matching the sort of results you'd expect from a championship contender. So if Matt Tibos can start to get some victories, he may just pinch his title right at the end.
Yeah, and this Renault's all over the back of the racing point. The Pink Panther, big slide coming out of the last, penultimate, 3rd to last corner even for Aidan. We've got the 290 rights to finish a lap, and that'll be a lap of the Sochi Autodrome, and Aidan's going to maintain the lead on lap 1. But Matt Tibos is all over the back of him in the Renault. We're going to have Jake Davis in 3rd, bit of a gap back. Then we've got Jay Luke in 4th, who got past Jack Hickey about halfway through that lap, but Matt Tibos all over the back of the racing point, heading down towards turn 2. He's going to make a move. I don't think he's going to be quite close enough. Very close to the back end in the braking zone, but not close enough to actually stick it up the inside, Dom.
Disaster for Dan the Man. He's in the pit lane. He's out the back of the grid. He did get damage from the racing point of Jack Hickey as Matt Tibos gets very close to Aidan Griffins. Can he finally get through? You can see how much more confident he is in these conditions. Aidan Griffins holding on for his dear life. Yet to win a race this season. Aidan was so quick on the last game. Hasn't carried over to F1 2020. But can Matt Tibos get the racing point that seems to be struggling? But as I said, Dan the Man at the back of the grid, not what he needed. He's going to need a safety car to get himself back into this race.
There's a sector flag in a yellow flag in sector 1, and that was for the Alfa Romeo of CJ. Meanwhile, back at the front, Matt Tibos is hounding and harrying the racing point in front of him. John has left the session, unfortunately, as he goes through turn 11. Matt Tibos, he's got this chance down the back straight, the kinky back straight, the John Barrowman straight, as I like to call it. Aidan Griffins, I think he's going to hold on, but he's going to try and close the gap, Matt Tibos, but I don't think it's going to be quite close enough into turn 14.
Yeah, not quite close enough there for Matt Tibos. Aidan doing a very good stern job at the moment of keeping him back. You can see how much quicker Matt Tibos is. He can't just get through. The gap is staying at around a tenth or two, but the gap isn't quite big enough to make a move. Can we see Nady this time round going into turn 2 on the third lap for the Renault driver? In the background, J-Luke has jumped 3 places. Speed 19 has gained 8 places, up to 8th already from 16th on the grid, so a fantastic start for the AlphaTauri driver. Meanwhile, his teammate Speed Newgarden has dropped back into 15th, but this is now going to be a real chance for Matt Tibos to get through on Aiden.
He's going to have a very good chance. He's going to have a sniff, maybe into turn 1, but he's going to be all over the back of him through turn 1. Surely he's going to make a move into turn 2 this time. Aiden's going to have to go defensive. And Matt Tibos hasn't dived it on the inside either, so the points for the time being. He's got a bit of a gap back to Jake Davis in third place, and maybe he's going to have a move into turn 4. He's going to have a massive slide, and that's lost all his momentum, and Aiden gets a bit of a gap and a bit of breathing room, Dom. Meanwhile,
J-Luke has passed JD for P3. It was a beautiful move. The top two are fighting side by side. These two are also side by side right behind them, and J-Luke has got through into P3. A fantastic move round the outside of the Red Bull driver. Crucially now into third place and can start to chase down the two ahead as Kyle continues to threaten Jack Hickey in front of him.
Yeah, Jake Davis unfortunately picking up a time penalty as well, so losing position and picking up a time penalty, not exactly what he needs here. Looking further down the field, Corey has made up good position from the back of the field. He's all over the back of Knighton for P9, and there's 3-car battle for P7 at the moment.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Ginger Andy just about holding on, but you can see the cars behind us. Look at that, Speed 9 has been passed by Corey. Corey up 9 places himself.
Had a crap exit, to be honest, out of turn 11. He had a massive slide, and that just meant Corey made easy prey of him on the exit. Just better traction, easy move for Corey. Corey up to P8, Knighton down to P9.
So Corey started 17th on the grid already. What was that? 9 places back from Kyle now, just 2 places back from Kyle. So the championship contenders are getting close on track. We've got Matt Tibos currently in second, struggling to find a way past Aidan Griffins. We've got Corey and Kyle now very close to one another, and Dan the Man disastrously in 17th, and I can't see how he closes with the back of this packet. Aidan responds from the pressure of Matt Tibos with a new fast left, and Corey and Knighton's all over the back of Ginger Andy as we go down now to turn 2.
Yeah, we go down towards turn 2. Leaders, I think, are going to stay line astern for the time being, but Corey has got a great chance to get himself up into P7 here. He's going to look possibly to the inside in towards turn 2. Andy is going slightly defensive, but just sitting in the middle of the road. Great defensive driving from Andy. Definitely parked it on the apex there. Very slow run through the corner from Andy there. And Corey has lost all his momentum and possibly the chance to get him in turn 4.
Keep an eye on Roy. Roy seems to benefit from races towards the end of the race because of time penalties, so keep an eye on that McLaren driver. Currently P10, can he gain any places with drivers getting post-race penalties later on? Matt Tibos still right on the back of Aidan Griffins, for whatever reason just can't quite seem to find a way through that Racing Point driver. Aidan doing a fantastic job to hold him back. He's got to do another 10 more laps of this if he wants that first win of the season. Matt Tibos looking for only his 4th win of the season, but these two very close. Well now, J-Luke right on the back of both of them.
Yeah, so coming down the kinky back straight, as we see the overtake being used by Matt Tibos this time round. I don't know if Aiden in front is using overtake. I don't think he's going to try. He's gone for a move into... No, he's not quite close enough. Made Aiden think about it though. Looked up, had a sniff up the inside, but didn't quite stick it in.
Ginger Andy is doing a fantastic job to keep Corey behind. Corey's going to be so frustrated, but he must keep his head calm. He must keep that Mercedes facing in the right direction as he almost taps the back, and Andy had a bit of a slide coming into this next chicane corner. But Andy doing a fantastic job on that McLaren. We just can't seem to find a way through. All these drivers struggling to make moves here. I think the only move we've seen so far, Jake, and that was a flip one round the outside in turn 4.
Yeah, it was indeed. Meanwhile, I think Matt Tibos is definitely going to have a run on Aiden this time though. Heading down towards turn 1. He's using the overtake once again. I think he did a little bit of overtake saving. Is he going to dive up the inside in towards turn 2? No, he isn't. It's Corey looking for a move on Andy further back down the field. This is battle for P7. Corey's doing the whippity-wop, flippity-flop. He's going to try and make him do it, but Andy once again parks his car superbly on the apex. But Corey's going to try and go around the outside of turn 4. Is he going to get the move done? No, he isn't, but Andy's got very slidey, and Andy's very much wide off the racing line. Knighton's passed as well, and he's maybe prayed to his teammate for the final points position at this current moment in time. But Matt Tibos still all over the back of Aiden, and J-Luke has joined the party as well.
7/10 between these 3 drivers. Fantastic. There is opportunity. You can see the 2 in front. Fonatary needs to get involved in this in the moment. There's still a long way to go in this race, but this is the likes of JD and Jack Hickey. So maybe close drivers a 5-way fight Kyle 2, currently in P6, also keeping his distance. The Jack Kicky of the second row. Now with a glorious chance to finally get through Aidan Griffins. Will go for the move up the inside. He's thinking about it. Aidan now will turn in. Matt Tibbles quite far enough for him. And Aidan Griffins holds on to P1 for now. Back from these two. Back wheels as they go through this next section of corners.
And we're coming up through the chicane now. We've got Matt Tibos side by side with Aidan. Aidan's just about holding on for the time being. I'll hopefully get these audio issues sorted out in the near future with Dom. But we're going to go side by side through the 90 right. There's three cars battling through the final couple of corners. J-Luke's going to try and go round the outside of Matt Tibos in the final corner. He's going to have the traction on the exit. And is he going to be able to get the move done? They're still going to be side by side. And this gives Aidan a bit of breathing room for the time being. J-Luke side by side with Matt Tibos. And I think Matt Tibos just holding on for the time being. J-Luke going to try and go to the outside of turn 2. And he can't get the move done. And now Jake Davis is joining the party as well. So, hopefully Dom has sorted out his internet issues and I can have a breath, basically.
Matt Tibos! Okay now, Matt from the other Aidan Griffins, almost thinking, well, carry on there.
Right. Yeah, so we've got J-Luke all over the back of Matt Tibos coming towards turn number 6 and 7. We've got this fight. It's now turned into a 5-car scrap for the lead thanks to everyone battling so closely. Meanwhile, we've got Corey in 7th, Kyle is in 6th, and he's not actually that far behind this battle as well. So this lead battle is definitely regaining momentum in this race. As we see coming around the next couple of corners, I think Dom has had some technical issues there in the Bromley data centre for TGP. Not going well for him tonight on the technical front. Meanwhile, J-Luke all over the back of the racing. Well, J-Luke is actually a bit of a gap back. Sorry about that, guys. But we have Matt Tibos all over the back of the racing point as we go through the final sector now. So it's getting very much more and more exciting. And I need to take a breath quickly because this is just getting tense as we see the top 6, and now Corey's getting close to the back of the battle as well in that camera shot. Matt Tibos all over the back of the racing point as he comes around the first couple of corners. And is Dom's technical issue sorted now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Dom. Hello.
Hello. Sorry about that. Not quite sure what was going on. Matt Tibos getting very close behind Aidan Griffins. These two have been fighting all race, but coming up the hot distance. Matt Tibos wants to move down to turn 3 race later.
Matt Tibos diving up the inside of Aidan, and he's going to have a move. They're going to be side by side on the exit. It's still doing, your technical issues are still there, unfortunately, Dom, as we go round the long sweeping left-hander that is turn number 4. Matt Tibos is going to take the lead up the inside of turn 5. Still side by side, actually. The two guys in front. Meanwhile, I've clicked the wrong button there. As we see J-Luke having a move as well. So J-Luke's going to try and stick it on the inside. This is getting very tasty. Watching on board from Jake Davis in the Red Bull now. All you can see is spray, but they're getting side by side. On board with Aidan as they go round turn number 8. Trying to hang it around the outside. He's lost the lead to Matt Tibos, and now he's lost second place to J-Luke. And now Jake Davis is all over the back of him. His teammates in that battle as well. And then we have Kyle lurking in the background and Corey. So we've got a 7-car scrap for the win here in Russia. We've got Jake Davis maybe looking for a move on Aidan this time, heading down towards turn number 14 at the Sochi Autodrome. So is he going to be able to make a move? I don't think he's going to be quite close enough further down the field. I think we're going to be line astern as we come through this sector this time round, but this battle at the front is getting ever closer and closer. Matt Tibos is going to try and get away. I think he knew J-Luke was coming and needed to make the move, and has done in this race. So J-Luke and Matt Tibos are actually starting to make a break for it. They've pulled out a second on Aidan in 3rd place. So Aidan is definitely the cork in the bottle here at this Grand Prix here at the Sochi Autodrome. So getting ready for down the main straight they go as we see now.
Corey and Kyle, championship contenders. I don't know if you can hear me. 6th and 7th at the moment. They're doing well.
Still doing it as we see Jake Davis flying through turn number 4. The left-hander, and there's something that happened down the field. I heard Dom scream at something.
Kyle and Corey!
Kyle and Corey, yes, they are battling. I can hear you in short snippets, Dom. We can hear Kyle and Corey battling so closely. These are two title rivals battling for position. The other two title rivals are up in first and second. So these two really need to, if anything, try not to take seven. They try and get past each other, but try and make their way cleanly, because they can't afford to lose many more points. They're already losing a hot chunk full of points in this race here at the Sochi Autodrome. Meanwhile, it's getting closer and closer. Jake Davis all over the back of the Racing Point for the final podium spot, and Jack Hickey is struggling to defend off the Williams and the Mercedes behind. We've got Mercedes maybe looking at that move. Corey, is he going to go for the dive? No, not quite. But the two leaders have really shot off now. Aiden, like we said, the cork in the bottle, and everyone, the two guys that have finally got past him, have got off into the distance, and they're now 3 seconds up the road. So, here we are, Corey on board with him now, just coming around the final couple of corners, all over the back of the Williams in front of him. Just got the final couple of corners here at the Sochi Autodrome, 18 and 19. Round he goes. Matt Tibos setting the fastest lap of the race as well in that Renault. So now he's got clean air. He's able to give it a bootful. Corey all over the back of Kyle as we head through turn one. He's going to have to make a move, and he's looking for a move. He's going to go up the inside, down on the run towards turn two now. He's very much up the inside. I think he's going to be able to get the move done. He gives Kyle the big squeeze into the barrier. They're still going to be side by side on the exit. So they're going to be side by side round the long sweeping left-hander. Normally this either ends badly or really well. They're still side by side. There's contact. There's wheel-to-wheel contact there from the Kyle and Corey. Corey loses out after the wheel-to-wheel contact. He was a little bit behind anyway, so it's rear wheel to front wheel on Corey's car. And Corey lost out, having a big slide and losing ground in that period. Jack Hickey is now all over the back of Jake Davis again. And like we said, the leaders have shot off in this race. We're on lap 9 of 13. So there's about, 4.5 laps to go in this race? And I need to catch a breath, because this race has been quite mental so far. Haven't been able to look elsewhere down the field. This top 7 have been so tight. And now that top 7 has been unleashed. Matt and J-Luke have been unleashed even. We have Aiden now the cork in the bottle for the final podium spot. Jake Davis going to hang on for the time being. Meanwhile, Corey and Kyle are still side by side. I think Corey's gone round the outside of turn number 14 there. Got the move done, and he's up into P6. And now he's going to be looking for a move past Jack Hickey. So, Jack Hickey looking for a move up the field himself. So, very tight this battle for third place. It's a 5-car battle for this third position in the field. The final podium spot. Corey from the back of the grid has got himself up into P6, so it's a phenomenal drive from him. Kyle didn't have a great qualifying either, and he finds himself down in P7, so it doesn't look like he's a fan of this circuit. Meanwhile, Jake Hickey is going to go to the outside of Jake Davis through turn one. Jake Davis is going to try and hold on. He pushes him wide on the exit, and that enables Corey to be all over the back of him. Corey's going to look to the outside through turn 4. He's going to try and hold it around the outside, try and not have the contact they had with Kyle the previous lap. Holds it around the outside, a little bit of contact there with Jack Hickey through, but Corey is up into 5th place. Jake Hickey down to 6th. So after a phenomenal drive, he's lost 2 positions. Well, he hasn't, he hasn't lost 2 positions, but it was all thanks to Jake Davis giving him the squeeze on the exit of turn 2 and through turn number 3. And that has just given Aiden a little bit of breathing room. He's now got a 1.5 seconds over the Red Bull behind. But the way this race has gone, I think you can see Jake Davis closing up that gap very quickly. Corey is only 5 tenths behind. We've got Jack Hickey in 6th, and we've got Kyle in 7th. Knighton is in 8th, Manatee is in 9th, and Ginger Andy is rounding out the last of the top 10, but he's got Iceman for very close company behind him. But we haven't been able to take our eyes off this battle for P3 as it stands, P4 as well. Getting very tasty in this 5-car scrap. And like I said, Jake Davis is starting to pull that gap back in again on the tracing point in front of him. It's coming down. It's going to be, I reckon, less than a second when they cross the line. This time round, hopefully I'm right. And I'm just wrong actually. It was just over a second. Meanwhile, Corey looking very racy in the Mercedes, all over the back of the Red Bull. Rivals in real life. They're going to be side by side. Down in towards turn 2. Mercedes is going to pass the Red Bull surely. He's got the move done, and that is Corey up into 4th. Jake Davis down into 5th place. So Corey is charged from the back of the field, continues. Is he going to be able to get Aiden in the last couple of laps and get onto that podium? I think the first and second positions are too far gone now. It's about 5.5 seconds between J-Luke and Aiden, and that is just going to be too much for Corey to do in this race. Meanwhile, Jack Hickey has still got to try and get past Jake Davies. He's going to have a second attempt surely in the next few corners, either coming round towards turn number 14, or the best overtaking opportunity on the circuit is down in towards turn number 2. Of course, no DRS in these wet conditions, which means it makes it especially difficult for the drivers to overtake. Kyle is still lurking in the background in case another incident happens between Jake Davis and Jack Hickey, which basically was Jake Davis forcing Jack Hickey off the circuit there. It's a bit robust, but I think that's fair racing. It is robust but fair, I would say, in my eyes. Meanwhile, Corey is already caught up to the back of the racing point, as we may have Dom back finally in the session. Dom, has the technical issues been solved for the final couple of laps?
Can you hear me, Owen? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Dom.
Brilliant. Well, I'm not in the game, unfortunately. I don't have an invite, but I'll join you for the next race, so enjoy this fight. Let's see how this one finishes.
We will indeed. Corey is all over the back of Aiden for third place in this race. I don't think he's going to be quite close enough to make a move down into turn 2 this time round, but he's going to have he's got 3 more bites of the cherry to get past Aiden and put himself onto the final podium space. Meanwhile, Jack Davis has a very poor exit coming out of turn 3, and that means that side by side Jack Hickey and Jake Davis are going to be coming round towards turn number 5. Jake Davis just cuts off his nose slightly there, but Jack Hickey, I think he had the room. Jake Davis gave him the little scare in these wet conditions. Not ideal, but it's very aggressive and robust driving from the Red Bull driver. As we see, a time penalty picked up by Waze, where he is 12. That is basically irrelevant in this race considering all the things that have been going on. We have Jack Hickey just about keeping up with Jake Davis. We've got about a 3-car battle for P5. We've got a battle for the final podium spot. But meanwhile, Matt Tibos entering the final sector for the penultimate time in this race looked fairly comfortable with J-Luke in second. So I think that is going to be your top 2 in this race, barring penalties. Meanwhile, Aiden once again having to fend off from the Mercedes behind. It looks like Corey's just got so much more confidence in the corners than Aiden, and it's really showing as Corey is all over the back of him. They're basically the same car, some would say, the Tracing Point and the Mercedes, as they come round the final couple of corners. Meanwhile, the leaders just started the final lap of the race as J-Luke is in second. 7.5 seconds back, we have Aiden in third and Corey in fourth, battling for the final podium spot. Mercedes is on the overtake, heading down the main straight for the final time in this race. He hasn't got that much left. Is Aiden just about going to hold on this time round? Yes, he is. I think Aiden's just about going to hold on into turn 2. So he's got really one more bite of the cherry in this race to Corey, unless he gets a good run out of turn 3, which he has. He's going to try and look to the outside potentially. Aiden is very cautious actually through turn 4. Is Corey going to have a look for a move up the inside? No, he isn't. Not quite looking for a move into turn 5. Meanwhile, Corey picking up a 3 seconds high penalty. I think that might be costly for his race chances in this podium spot, because I haven't seen Aiden picking up a penalty in this race. He'll want to try and get Aiden on the road, but I think he might lose that position again through corner cut penalties. Iceman picking up a penalty as well. Aiden been hassled and harried by the Mercedes behind as he comes round turn 11 this time. And is Corey going to finally be able to get the move done on the Tracing Point in front of him? He's got the overtake, of course, no DRS like we've mentioned already in these wet conditions. J-Luke is about a second behind. Is he going to stick it up the inside, Corey, into turn 14? I think not. I think he's just about going to be okay. He's all over the back of Aiden. Is he going to try an ambitious move, maybe into turn 16? I don't think he's quite going to be able to do it. But we're going to switch to the leader now. Matt Tibos coming around the final couple of corners here in Russia. Matt Tibos in the Renault wins for Renault, and he takes 25 championship points. J-Luke is going to come home in second. Aiden is just about going to hold on to third position from Corey in fourth. Then we're going to have Jake Davis cross the line in fifth. Jack Hickey coming home in sixth, and Kyle in seventh. And Jack Hickey actually gets promoted up to 4th thanks to Corey's penalty. Jake Davies is coming home in 7th thanks to other penalties. We've got Knighton coming home in 8th. McLaren's coming home nose to tail in P9 and 10. And then we have Iceman in 11th. Dan the Man is going to come home in 12th. And that was a very exciting race, and it's a shame you've missed it, Dom.
Yeah, sounded very good. Crucial win for Matt Tibbles then, putting his title defence back on a charge again. 25 points, only the 8th for Kyle. So that gap has come down. We'll get you the live points. Very short drive it was for Matt and Corey to go for the, even though it was only for P5 in the end. And that was a points haul from him. 10 points gained from that race, but yeah, crucial win for Matt Tibbles. And now this title fight looking very good. If it wasn't already. What a drive from Matt Tibbles. The Renault driver, top spot here at Russia. Joined by Deluk and Aiden on the podium. Great to see Aiden back on the podium places. Not the best season. Into race victory here. Matt Tibbles has paced just too much for the Racing Point driver. Matt Tibbles also took the fastest lap as well as his race win, so 26 points he scores actually from here. J. Luke and Aiden on the podium places. Jack Hickey jumped up to 4th in the end with Corey 5th, Kyle 6th. Jake will be disappointed to drop down to 7th following penalties. Knighton was P8. Ginger Andy finished P9 in the McLaren. A great result for him. It was actually Roy who picked up a penalty himself. Roy expected to gain places from penalties but actually lost one here. So there you go. Andy, his first points of the season. Roy in 10th. Iceman just missed out in P11. Waze was 12th, still looking for his first points of the season. Phil Bardot was 13th, with Dan the Man in P14, a disastrous race for him. He will not be wanting to remember this one in a hurry. Jonas was 15th, CJ 16th, and Newgarden in 17th. Well, I was saying that, Phil Bardot was DNF'd in 13th, so maybe my results were a little glitchy, having joined this session a bit late. Not that it matters, no points for any of them. Races to go. He is now closing that gap to Kyle. Kyle just can't seem to get the wins, the poles, the podiums at the moment to get himself continuing this charge for the title fight. Next race is Japan, not Britain short. Do not be fooled by the graphic top left. Few comments from the chat. Jamie asking what wings Matt Tibbles is running. Matt Tibbles has some really good straight line speed. And he says good fun, even though it felt like a bloody roadblock for the majority of it. And he says great race, and Matt Tibbles said should have seen Aiden's straight line speed, even more ridiculous than his. Well, we're playing Grand Prix Lottery here, as the host tries to change the track to a different circuit. We've got Brazil at the moment. What will we get next? I'm going to go Netherlands. USA short. Next one, I'm going to go Brazil. Let's have a look, see what we get next. Drum roll, please. We prepare to see what is the next track here on TGP Lottery. Currently USA short. I think we are going to have to make a new lobby. Unfortunately, Codemasters having some issues, which is very rare for Codemasters, as we all know. Yeah, unfortunately, a few technical issues here with the Codemasters game, which is very rare for Codemasters, as I said. And we'll be back with you very shortly for the next race here in TGB1. 5 rounds to go in this season. Japan, States, Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. The championship lead has gone down for it. 51 points between the top 4, now down to 42 in the top 4, has come down. Matt Tibos taking a win in Russia, bound to him, and he's gone from 4th in the championship. 33-point pile. Kyle is slowly, gradually. So Kyle leads the way with 100 points. Matt 33 behind, Dan 45 behind, Corey 47 behind. So all 4 drivers are still in this title fight with the 5 rounds to go. Which will the title take next? It should be a thoroughly enjoyable final 5 rounds.
Yeah, it should be indeed. As we start this qualifying session off, gonna ride on board with Kyle for a little bit, and we're gonna give you basically just let you ride on board with Kyle and see what he does around this Suzuka circuit here. This beautiful circuit here in the Mie Prefecture in Japan. So after Pyle abandoning that qualifying lap, we're going to switch on board to the Alfa Romeo of Jean-Luc Taylor. He's just coming around the hairpin at the top of the circuit now, and he's heading down the curve straight in towards Spoon Corner. So let's see what the Alfa Romeo driver does. Heading towards Spoon now, braking about the 50-metre board. I think he's ran a little bit wide through the middle of Spoon there, but he's got good exit speed, flinging him on the back straight down towards 130R. He's going to be the first person to set a flying lap in this qualifying session, so that's why he's going purple in every sector so far. So coming through the Casio Triangle, as it's called, excuse me there, as we come through the Casio Triangle, got the DRS open. He's going to be the first one to set a flying lap, and that is a 27.2. So got to quickly run down the points as we're in the early stages of this session after that last race. Kyle is leading the championship after that on 228. Then we have Matt Tibos in second on 195, 33 points back. Then we have Dan the Man in third, 45 points back on 183. And Corey is in fourth on 181, 47 points back. So there's 130 points left to play for still in this championship, because we have 5 rounds to go, and there's the bonus points for fastest lap in each race. J-Luke has just gone to the top of the times with a 26.8, followed by Matt Tibos closely behind. So here we are, 13 minutes to go still in this qualifying session. A lot of guys haven't done runs yet. Kyle's currently in the pit box, championship leader. We've got Jake Davis, I believe, on the flying lap. Yes, he is, heading down towards 130R. So, heading towards through 130R and into the Casio Triangle. And is that Dom Smith I can hear back as Jake Davis invalidates his lap?
Can you hear me? Is it all good? Any connection issues for you, Owen?
No, it's all good.
Okay, maybe it was the headset. Maybe it wasn't the internet.
Yep, I think you're all good, Dom. Try and say more than 3 words.
Right, 13 minutes left here in the session. J-Luke currently a 1:26.8. Corey, 10th back at the moment. Needs a good result here following his great fight back at Russia. Matt Tibbo's P3.
So, yeah, I think, Dom, the technical issues are still continuing at the Bromley Data Centre, unfortunately, for Dom tonight. So, it's not going well down in that part of the world. We've got Dan the Man just on an in-lap now with about 12 minutes to go in this session. A lot of drivers, I think, are either starting flying lap or are on in-laps. Currently, I think Corey, Matt's on an in-lap. There's a lot of drivers on this in-lap, so I think we've got a little bit of a lull in the session. So we're going to have Speed Newgarden, actually. He's on a flying lap in the Alpha Tauri. So, watching him come through the final couple of corners now, and, well, not even the final couple of corners. I'm losing. To be honest, I'm quite tired at the moment. I've been up since 5 AM, so forgive me if I keep making odd slip up now and then as we get through Spoon. He's at Spoon, Speed Newgarden. That's where he is currently on the circuit. So, Speed Newgarden in Spoon corner. So Newgarden's coming up to the end of this lap. Where's it going to put him in the session? This puts him P8 on a 28 dead. So, it's not the best of laps for him. He's about 1.2 seconds off the current pole sitter time of J-Luke. Still got Kyle, I believe, just starting a flying lap. He's actually quite comfortably into a flying lap. Actually comes round the hairpin. You've got Aiden also just in front of him. Also on a flying lap. So, I'll let you see out the end of these laps, and we'll see. I'll report back at the end.
Matt Tibbo's a 1:23 fastest session. Hope you can hear me clearly. I hope you can. is the new quickest time, a 1:22 in the 10th clear of Matt Tibbos. Both of these drivers 5/10 clear of Jay Lucas, is now very Jack if he crosses the line and can go only 9.
I needed to take a comfort break, unfortunately, so sorry for the period of silence. Luckily, we still were on air, so you could still see what was happening in this qualifying session. So currently, Dan the Man is the provisional pole sitter. He is on a 26.2. Then we have Matt Tibbos in second on a 26.3. Jay Luke is in third and in the pit lane currently on a 26.8. Also on a 26.8 is Sean. And then we have Corey in 5th position on a 26.9, who is just on a flying lap as we speak now. So, watching him come through the S's here at Suzuka and in towards the Degner corners, and he's 2 tenths down actually, so I think he might have to back out of this lap. A lot of the lap time on this circuit is actually very critical to a good first sector, so if you don't have a good first sector, you lose a lot of lap time, and that could be a bad lap for you. So we have 6 minutes left to go in this qualifying session. We still have 3 drivers yet to set a qualifying time in this session as well, so they'll be looking to amend that shortly. As we see Jake Davis is actually on an outlap as well as we speak, so we're fine on that front. Corey has invalidated his lap, unfortunately, and now is heading back to the pit lane. We've got a few drivers on outlaps, Jay Luke and John, and I think Kyle may be on a flying lap in his... Yes, he is. Kyle is on a flying lap in the Williams. He's currently a 10th down on his previous best first sector time as he heads towards the hairpin in this on Suzuka's track. So, come around the hairpin now in the Williams. Sorry, I forgot about what I was trying to say there for a few seconds, but we have Kyle in the Williams coming around Spoon Corner now. So Kyle just coming through the Spoon Corner. He's come out the Spoon Corner actually, and he's heading down the back straight once again in this race through 130R. What's his lap time going to be as we see him fly through the final chicane, the Casio Triangle? What's the lap time going to be? Is it going to be a decent lap from Kyle? He's going to open the DRS, quite a short run on the DRS, and he's put in a 26.7, and that's put him P3 in the session here at Suzuka, round 18 of TGP1. So a little bit of a lull in the session. We've got a few guys on out laps ready to start a flying lap. I think Jay Luke is just starting his flying lap now in the Williams. So here we are, Jay Luke, watching him go through the S curves here at Suzuka. A lot of curves it is. Turns, 3 to 7 on this circuit, so a very long time, and he's invalidated the lap, unfortunately. Gonna go on board with Jean now in the Alfa Romeo. He's just sitting behind him in this qualifying session by less than a tenth. Goes through the first Degner, and he's 3 tenths up, so there's a very strong first sector from the Alfa Romeo driver of Jean-Luc Taylor. Heading towards the hairpin now, that is turn 11 on this track map that I can see in front of me. Coming out of there, needs to get a good exit out of there because he got the bend in the straight, a curvy straight here. Another curvy straight on this circuit, in towards Spoon Corner. That is turns 13 and 14, 2 kinks of Spoon. 14 needs to get a very good exit out of here as it flings you through 130 on all the way down to the Casio Triangle on this circuit. Good lap so far from Jean. He's now nearly 4 tenths up on his previous best. So if he can maintain this pace, he'll put him, what, P3 in this session definitely, and maybe even P2. Battling Matt Tibos. He needs to get a good run through that final couple of corners, and he has. It's the drag to the line now for the Alfa Romeo driver, and he's gone P3, and that's a very tidy lap from Jean. There's about 2.5 minutes left in the session. We've got Aiden on the flying lap in the tracing point as well, coming out of Spoon Corner and heading down towards 130R in the racing point. Mercedes powered, of course, and through 130R. He's going to fly now. He's 9 thousandths up on his previous best lap. That's not really going to do a lot for his qualifying position, being only 9 thousandths up in that sector, but I did see what he did in the first sector, so maybe he gained time there as well. What's the lap time going to be from the racing point now? He stays P8. He gained a little bit there, but it weren't enough to go back ahead of Speed 9. Corey, is he on a flying lap? Yes, he is, in the Mercedes, coming through the end of the first sector now. What's his time going to be coming towards the split now? And he's 3 tenths up. So he needs to maintain this pace. And he's invalidated the lap, unfortunately. And that will be the end, I think, pretty much the end of Corey's session. Matt Tibos on an outlap now. We've got Dan, the man, on an outlap. I think we have Phil Bardrow on an outlap as well. Yes, he is. I'm trying to see who is the furthest round a lap at the moment. I think... No, it's not... Who is... I think it must be Phil, actually. Phil is the furthest round on a flying lap. I'm just trying to see. No, Jack Hickey is on a flying lap in the racing point, sorry. So the other racing point is the next car, I think, on the flying lap to go across the line. So coming through Spoon Corner now. He's currently on a 27.3. That puts him P9 in this session. Needs to gain about 4 attempts to get in that battle for P6 and maybe a little bit more, and he could be right in that scrap for P4. He's currently 3 attempts up. That would put him just ahead of his teammate Aiden in P8 if he continues this pace till the end of the lap. Through the Casio triangle now in the racing point. What's the lap time going to be for the 71? And he goes up to P6, so he gained half a second overall in that lap. In the end, Corey's gone for another flying lap, trying to see where everyone else is. I think Matt Tibos is just coming through the S-curves now. Yes, he is. He's a very serious contender for pole in this qualifying session. He's on a 26.3 currently, and he's gained another 10 and a bit in that first sector through the Degner 1 and Degner 2, and finds himself flinging himself towards the hairpin now. He needs to get a good run through the hairpin. Good exit is critical out of this corner, and you need to get a good exit round this curved straight heading towards Spoon Corner. So round Spoon Corner he goes nicely through there, through the first part, through the second part. Important again to get a good exit out of Spoon, as there's a yellow flag for a car just letting Matt Tibos by. As we see Matt Tibos heading towards the split now. What's the split going to be? He's nearly 5 tenths up on his previous lap. So if he keeps going at this pace, doesn't invalidate his lap at the Casio triangle, he's surely going to dip into the 25s. Dan the Man's gone slightly quicker actually on a 26.1. He's on provisional pole for now, but we're watching Matt Tibos come across the line, and he's surely going to smash that. And he hasn't smashed it as much as I thought. He's only done a 26 dead. I thought he was going to dip into the 25s, but that is provisional pole for the Renault driver. We've got Kyle further back. Corey's done a 26.6, and that is his session over. Watching Kyle now come through Spoon in the Williams. Now we've got J. Luke, I think, is a little bit further back, and he's invalidated the lap, so that's J. Luke done, really. So that is all the title contenders bar Kyle. What's Kyle going to do? Heading towards 130R. He's 4 tenths up in that middle sector alone. Where's that going to put him? That'll probably put him about P3 maybe in this session. Coming through the Casio triangle, needs a really good run through this short final sector. What's his lap time going to be? It's going to be P3. Kyle puts himself up into P3. So we've got 3 of the 4 title contenders. 1, 2, 3 on the grid, and the other one is in 5th. So 4 of the top 5 are the 4 championship contenders here. Just seeing if there's anyone else on a flying lap. No, there isn't. That is J. Luke coming across the line, and that is the end of the session. We've got Jack Hickey in the pits. So Matt Tibos has taken pole position here at Suzuka. So Matt Tibos in pole on the Renault, followed by the Ferrari and Dan the Man in second. Then we've got Kyle in third in the Williams. John Luke Taylor fourth in the Alfa Romeo. Then 5th is Corey. 6th is J. Luke, and 7th is Jack Hickey. Then we've got Speed Knighton up in 8th position. 9th place, we have Aidan Griffins in the other racing point, and Jake Davis is rounding out the top 10. CJ is 11th, then we've got Speed Goo Garden in 12th, Ginger Andy in 13th, Speed Iceman in 14th. Jovial Mancy 15th. And Waze in 16th. And Phil Bardo rounds out the field. So, let me know. Jean, Dom is going to try his technical issues out for one last time. See if they've sorted out. Are you there, Dom?
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Can you hear me? Any good?
I can't hear you. I don't know if it's any better. You need to say more than 3 sentences.
Yeah, that might help. Matt Tibos claims pole position then. Once again, that's 5 poles in the last 6 races. Can you still hear me? Am I still with you?
Yes, you are still with me for the time being.
Okay. So Matt Tibos has had 5 poles in 6 races. This guy is hunting down Kyle at a very quick rate. And we've got rain here at Suzuka. It's going to dry up, we suspect, in the first 4 to 8 laps. So we could have another Spa-style race here. Can you still hear me? Are we looking good?
Yes, we are looking good for the time being. I'll let you know if there's any problems again.
Okay,
Dom.
good. Qualifying is complete then here at Suzuka. We're ready for a very thrilling, exciting race here around this wonderful circuit in the Japanese hills. 5 rounds to go. The top 4 covered by 47 points. The top 4 all in the front 5 positions on this grid. We've got rain here once again, which is bad news for Dan the Man. He hates these conditions. But now, with just 15 seconds to go until this race, who is going to be victorious around Suzuka?
So yeah, good to see Dom is back. The technical issues have been sorted in the Bromley Data Centre. We've got a few seconds to go until the race starts here at the Suzuka circuit. 5 lights will be coming on shortly. 3, 4, and 5 lights are on here at Suzuka. The lights are out and we're away here at Suzuka. It looks like a strong start from the front row, guys. Matt Tibos is just going to take the lead into turn 1. Dan the Man's just going to hold off for a second, and the Williams are going to be slicing and dicing side by side. Is J. Luke going to possibly overtake Kyle? They're going to be side by side as they enter towards the S-curves now. I think J. Luke is just going to hold on for the time being. Corey's actually snuck through as well, and it's all getting very
round!
Kyle's round! Kyle is round in the Williams! He's gone to the back of the field. Did he hit the barrier, Dom?
No, he just spun round by himself. He lost the car, went on the curb. The championship leader at the back of the grid. He was in a fight. He didn't need to be in with his teammate. I think there'll be some words of Williams post-race, but that's a crucial for the championship. Matt Tibos, Dan the Man, Corey in the top 4, and Kyle at the back of the grid. What drama here at Suzuka. Matt Tibos leads them away, then Dan the Man will be grateful that this rain is going to disappear very shortly. He does not like these conditions. If he can just stay at the front for now, it's looking good towards the end of the race. Corey is in P4, right behind J. Luke. J. Luke got a fantastic start. He's gained 3 places, up to 3rd, went side by side of his teammate. His teammate had to try and defend the position, and then he went over the curb and spun himself round. The slightest of touches. And that Williams driver now at the back of the grid, scoring no points. As things stand, Matt Tibos is only 33 behind Kyle with these 5 races to go. The gap will be down to just 8 as things stand. Corey looking very racy behind J. Luke. Can he get P3 from the Williams driver? The Williams driver now makes a mistake, and Corey goes through into P3. Between the 3 chasers, now in the top 3 in this race.
Yeah, they are indeed. Top 3 in the race are the 3 chasers. J. Luke once again not having this. I think it's the second time this season the Williams drivers have come together on circuit, and it's ended disastrously for one of them. Kyle is at the back of the field as it stands, but thankfully for him, it's not completely race over. It's in the conditions like we can see, like the race in Russia, and Kyle has not got any damage, thankfully for him, which means he can still work his way back up through the field, Dom.
Yeah, we're expecting the rain to dry out at some point during this race, like we saw in 2 races earlier on this season at Zandvoort and at Spa. Both those races, there was Williams at the back, who ended up on the podium. Because of the changeable conditions, Kyle will be hoping for similar fortune this time round. But for now, the rain does continue to pour. It continues to pull clear of Dan the Man. Dan the Man staying 1.6 seconds back. How hard will he fight Corey? Those 2 need to get a move on. They need to keep in the top 3, keep on the podium, put themselves back in that title fight. Dan the Man needs to make up for a horrible result, scoring nothing in Russia last time out. But at the same time, we didn't want to risk anything. Here was Corey. Corey was in the background. Phil Bartol has passed Speed Iceman and New Godman.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on Aidan Griffin's in the racing point as well, all over the back of night, and closest battle on the circuit, barring the leaders at the moment. This is the battle for P7. Meanwhile, Corey further up the field is very close to the back of Dan the Man. Is he going to try and possibly go for a move in towards the Casio Triangle? Not going to go for a move. That'd be absolutely ludicrous in these conditions to try and move through 130R. But is he going to try and stick it up the inside of the Casio Triangle? He's close enough, but he thinks better of it this time round.
This is allowing Matt Tibbles to pull clear at the front. We saw a brilliant move by myself in TGP2 around the outside. A speed new guidance now with this race. Will that be a safety car? I was going to say I made it on Zach at 130R.
Yeah, it will be.
And it is a safety car. Great news then for Kyle. Will he dive into the pit lane for dry tyres?
Yeah, that is the question.
Waze does.
He does.
As does Kyle. Let's see what tyres Kyle goes on to then. Will these two go for the dry tyres? We've already seen Andy in the pit lane. This is exactly what happened to Spa-Francorchamps. He came in for the dry tyre, waiting for the rain to go onto the safety car. Ginger Andy has fitted. I believe he has gone on to the dry rubber.
He has gone dry.
Will Kyle do? Kyle and 15th also going on to the soft tyres then. So Kyle and Andy will now hope. Kyle and Andy will now hope and pray that the rain quickly disappears, because if it does, those 1 and 2, when the rest then start to dive into the pit lane for their dry tyres.
Yeah, well, Waze hasn't, I can inform you of that. He had a change of front wing and went on to fresh intermediate tyres. Currently on lap number 3 out of 13 here at the Suzuka circuit. On my guess, looking at the track map, what happened to Speed Newgarden was something that's quite easy to do in the wet, to be honest, and that is lose the back end coming through 130.
Oh, Kyle's round again. He's going to be in the barrier. Kyle's hit the barrier. It's throwing. And it's so, you've got to be so careful out there in these conditions. The Williams driver now, I'm not sure how much damage he's got to that front wing, but he might have to come straight back into the pit lane again, and before he knows it, he's going to be over about a minute behind the leader, so he's got to be so careful. The front wing looks intact, but I don't think he's taken too much damage. Yeah,
the front wing looks alright to me. Andy just passing the safety car now. I think we're going to see if the leaders come in this time and do the same strategy. I think it's a little bit too early, but like you said, Dom, if they're pootling around behind the safety car on the slick tyres and it does dry up within 1 or 2 laps, they're going to be in the pound seat.
Kyle then, I don't know how he's managed to get away without possible even a DNF there. Will he come straight back in for the intermediate tyres? It's still chucking it down. The safety goal should be out for 2 more laps. I suspect it will come in at the end of the last 5.
Matt Tibbles is in.
Matt Tibbles then dives into the pit lane. Maybe he thinks it's time. It is. He's going on to the medium tyres. That's another thing. Can the softs even get 7 or 8 laps towards the end anyway? So Matt Tibbles into the pit lane. The drivers at the back don't necessarily have anything to lose here. So Phil will also go on to the medium tyres. Andy will stay out on those soft rubber. Andy seems to be a bit of a guinea pig here for those ahead. Andy, that means 4 cars are now on the dry tyres. Will Andy or Kyle pit the mediums, or will they stick with the softs? Andy's struggling very much so in the final sector, and he stays out.
I will say there definitely looks like a drying line on the circuit. There definitely is a drying line forming. I wouldn't say it's quite ready for slip yet, but it might be ready by the time the end of this safety car, if not a lap or 2 after. So it's definitely looking like a good call at the moment, I would say, in my opinion, for Kyle and Andy, Phil and Matt Tibbles to all be out there on those slick tyres. But they've just got to be careful on this safety car laps and try not to bin it catching up to the back of the safety car, as Kyle has nearly done himself already.
And ironically, the cars that are pitted for the dry rubber are so far back that it is going to cause the safety car to stay out for 1 more lap, which will allow the chance of rain to disappear quicker. So Kyle, Waze, Andy, Phil and Matt all at the back. In fact, Waze has not pitted for new dry, as you mentioned.
For a new front wing.
Okay, so Waze pitted for a new front wing, but stayed on the intermediate tyres. Let's see what Dan, Corey and J-Luke choose to do now. I think Matt didn't need to take that risk. Maybe he felt he had to. I mean, Matt has come out 3 places higher than Kyle, really, of those on the dry tyres. So even if Kyle does find everyone in front pit, he will still be 4th behind Matt, Phil and Andy, who's been passed by Waze for some reason. I think Andy maybe had a spin on the soft tyres. Waze is definitely quicker on the inters. It's still raining very heavily on my screen. Safety car will do 1 more lap.
Yeah, it will do 1 more lap thanks to the guys at the back not catching the field yet. So
Dan Pitts! Oh no, he almost did! Dummy, then J-Luke comes into the pit lane from P3.
J-Luke has.
Was that deliberate from Dan the Man? Did he want those behind to fall for his plan and dive in? Both racing points are staying out. We've got CJ staying out in P7. It's a chance actually for those that normally at the back just to stay out. Roy's not be very good at strategy, and he's choosing to stay for the
softs. J-Luke, going to the softs.
Yeah, I think it's the right call. If you're going to go onto the dry tyres, you may as well come in for the soft tyres now with only about 7 or 8 laps to go once we resume racing. But the safety car should come in this lap. In fact, this might, if J-Luke comes out just, I think, behind Phil Bardwell. But the fact that these cars are so far back, you can see Carl really struggling to keep up with the pack. It is just so treacherous out there. This may cause another lap behind the safety car, which is, not bad for the drivers at the back.
Well, I think the main thing for those on slick tyres is try and get as much temperature into those tyres as possible. because that is the main thing. Those tyres will not give them any grip if they are cold in these conditions especially. They need to get the temperature in them to get any sort of grip out of them, and then they can start going quickly.
Yeah, so this is going to be very crucial. We now just keep an eye on those raindrops. Are they getting lightlier? Because at the moment, the safety car is going to peel into the pit lane, and we're going to resume racing. And those at the front, the top 10 in this race, have all got to extend their gap, get about 25 seconds clear of those who have already pitted for the dry tyres in about 1 or 2 laps. But I can already see the rain starting to fade away. It is still raining, but it is getting lighter.
Yes, it is indeed. The rain is definitely fading here at Suzuka. Of course, Suzuka is not exactly what's the word for it? I can't even think at the moment. What's the word that's
sexy?
No, not what. It is a great circuit, but that's not what I meant. It's not immune. That's the word I was looking for. It's not immune to having some rainfall in a Grand Prix, is it, Dom?
No, we've definitely seen a fair few drops here before. Safety car, we're about to find out. I hope it does dive into the pit lane, otherwise I think it is. It's coming in this lap. This is a great chance then for Dan the Man. Matt Tibbles somehow finds himself now down at P11, but it may be the right strategy. Dan will want to get this race started as soon as possible, but he can't go too early. Kyle's still trying to back up to this pack, still 7 seconds back from Ginger Andy, but as Dan starts to slow down now, that should allow Kyle to collect to the back. But we are about to go racing. Dan the Man's going to restart them on lap 5. Going on to lap 6.
Well, what I actually think from Kyle was the race gets restarted, and it's a great launch from Dan the Man. Is J Luke was actually sitting back a bit to try and keep more heat in his tyres when he caught the back of the pack to make him a bit easier prey.
I think we've got to be careful as well. If there is another safety car now, surely then all the top 10 will dive into the pit lane, and everyone on 11th downwards will take the lead. So if there's no safety car in the next 1 or 2 laps, the top 10 might be safe here, but there is a safety car. They're all going to be screwed as Jack Hickey has passed Speed 9 for P5. The racing points now both in the top 5 in this race. Let's keep an eye on those times. Matt Tibbles already 2.4 back from Roy. Yeah. And there's a great scrap for 6th, 7th and 8th at the moment. Speed 9 side by side with Alfa Romeo of CJH 87 with Speed Iceman right on the back of these two. But as you can say, yeah, Matt Tibbles dropping back for now. Not by a lot, but still by a little bit.
Well, he's dropped back 3 seconds on this restart, and looking at the track map, there is a bit of a gap between the guys on inters and the guys on slicks on the circuit. But it may not necessarily work out for him in the first 1 or maybe even 2 laps. But if it lasts any longer than 3 laps, it's a bit of a disaster for those guys at the back, hoping it would dry up, because the field will be so it'll be virtually impossible for them to keep their position.
Matt Tibbles is 12 seconds back from the leader of Dan already. What do we think the crossover is? About 23 seconds for a pit stop?
The gap was probably needed about 23 seconds. So if it falls into that, I'm going to keep an eye on the gaps to the leaders.
The rain stopped. The rain has stopped. Whether or not it's now time for the pit for dry tyres, but if it is, it's perfect time for Matt Tibbles. The gap between him and Dan the Man is 13 seconds. Surely Dan the Man will stay out for 1 more lap. Does he feel now is the time? Maybe it's too early. Dan the Man does stay out, as does Corey. Corey's getting very close to the back of Dan the Man. These two fighting for the race win here. Jonas dives into the pit lane. Can Corey get a move on Dan the Man going into turn 1? Will we see a beautiful move like we saw in F1? Raikkonen versus Fisichella back in 2005. Matt Tibbles still 14 seconds back from the leaders. Kyle crucially 19.3 back. Let's see then where John is going to rejoin, surely behind Kyle, behind Andy maybe as well.
Yeah, they're going to be definitely behind that lot. They're going to be quite far back. Those guys who've just pitted, they're going to be last 3 cars on the field. I'm keeping an eye on the times of Matt Tibbles at the moment. He is still losing time to the race leaders of Dan and Corey, who are now scrapping as they go in towards the Degner corners.
Yeah, keep an eye on that gap. 15 points was the gap between Matt and Dan the Man, so it's not getting as big as it was earlier on. Corey's got a great chance here to get through on Dan the Man once again. Will he go for a move? Will he feel he needs to? We've seen Corey be so unlucky this season in so many moments. It's definitely a dry line start. In fact, the whole track looks pretty much dry now.
It's going to be side by side. Sorry, Dom. They're going to be side by... No, not quite.
Well, they are now, I think.
Yeah, they are going to be side by side. Corey's going to try and go around the outside of Spoon Corner, and he's got the move done. What a move by Corey. Round the outside of Spoon Corner, and he's up into the lead of the race. Dan the Man down to P2. We've got Aiden in 3rd, Jack Hickey in 4th, and Knighton in 5th. But let's see how these slick runners run out. Like we said, they are still losing time, those slick runners, but not as much as they were previously.
Yeah, the gap's so small, it's only 16 seconds. The gap's only increasing ever so slightly now. Crucially, Kyle is 22 seconds back than the pace of Corey. But that's only on Corey, of course. He's still within 22 seconds of Dan, Aiden, Jack, Knighton, TGPSeries, all behind. Will any of these runners now choose the pit? They are. Dan the Man is in the pits. Aiden in the pits, as is Jack Hickey and CJH. But now Knighton and Corey choose to stay out. Will they come in next lap? Surely not going to go to the end on these tyres.
Well, the gap is still... well, those guys like Dan the Man, Aiden, Jack Hickey are definitely going to drop behind Matt Tibos. That is a certainty. And they're probably going to drop behind Kyle and maybe even Phil as well. I'm not quite sure how long it takes to do a pit stop on this circuit. I'm guessing it's about...
Yeah, Dan's just behind Kyle, so it must be about 23 seconds. Dan the Man has come out behind Kyle and Phil. That's not what he needed. He's come out behind his championship contender. So Kyle going off earlier on as a safety car.
A safety car. And that is very helpful for Corey. Surely he's going to dive in under this safety car. And it kind of leaves all the rest that have already made their jump onto slicks actually sitting ducks. So we could be looking at a Corey, Knight and Iceman top 3 in this race.
That does help the likes of Kyle, J-Luke and Andy, who went on to the soft rubber. I wasn't sure if it was going to get to the end around this track. But now there's a safety car. There'll be 2 more laps at least behind the slow pacer of the Mercedes, which means that they should get to the end quite easily. But Corey, I think, will, yes, take the lead ahead of Matt Tibbles. It's going to be very close. Knight and Iceman, I don't think will be second or third. I think they'll come out around maybe the likes of Dan, Andy and John in 8th, 9th and 10th.
Okay, that's actually looking at the track map now, that's probably more realistic. But yeah, Corey is going to be in a great position now. Surely he has to come in for those slick tyres under this safety car. Everyone else has already made the jump. There's only 3 cars that haven't made the jump yet, and he was one. So let's see if he dives into the pit lane. Of course he does. He's going to probably jump onto those soft tyres, Dom.
Yeah, I'll be very surprised if he goes on to anything other than the soft tyres. The Mercedes crew are out. They're going to fit that soft rubber onto Corey. So where will he come out in comparison to Matt Tibbles, who is only now coming around the final chicane? It's going to be very tight. The gap was, I think, about 15 seconds, the difference between Corey and Matt. Of course, a slower pace here under a delta. It's going to be very close between us. Matt Tibbles now comes around the final corner, going at a slow pace, and I think Corey will just about take the lead of this race.
No.
He does.
Oh, it's going to be very tight.
He doesn't.
Matt
He comes out P3.
Yeah, he has come out in P3, because the important thing to think was when Corey was coming out of the pits is he's got to drive up to the safety car line, and the end of the safety car line, the end of the white line at the end of the pit lane is when the positions are finally decided, and that is just enough to let Matt Tibos and J. Luke jump him in the stop.
Yeah, Speed 9 has come out in P5. This is a disaster for Dan the Man. It looked like it might have been his race when Matt Tibbles dived into the pit lane for dry tyres when it was still chucking it down, but instead Dan the Man now finds himself in P7, and there's not going to be a lot of laps to work his way up through the field. It's not what he needed. Kyle, actually, ironically, crashing at the start, has pretty much gained in points on his championship rivals as things stand. Well, Dan the Man at least. Matt Tibbles looking very good for another win tonight at the moment. On the medium tyres though, how close will J. Luke and Corey be behind? Corey will be on the faster, fresher, softer rubber.
Yeah, well, I'm just looking through the field, and Matt Tibos and Phil are the only 2 guys on medium tyres. Every other driver is on those soft tyres. So Matt Tibos is probably going to have to do a fair bit of defending in these last few laps.
Yeah, so should be very interesting then at the moment. And this race, just reading a Snapchat message. He will come in this lap, and we'll get a good 4 laps battle towards the end.
Yes, we will indeed. I think, safety car I think might be in this lap. Yeah, I think it will be in this lap actually, because Wade is just catching the back of the queue now, and the sector line is halfway down the straight between Spoon and 130R. We'll see for definite, but I think it will be in this time round, Dom.
Yeah, I bloody hope so. I want to see some racing. In fact, it might be staying up for 1 more lap. Really? Bloody hell, the pack's already caught up. We don't need 1 more lap behind the safety car.
I think you've not had a good night on this front. You've probably missed an absolute belt of the race, if not race of the season. The top 7 scrapping all night, pretty much the entire Grand Prix in Russia, and you had technical issues, and now you're watching a safety car fest here in Japan.
Yeah, I don't think I've picked the right race to be able to commentate for, unfortunately. Matt Tibbles then will do 1 more lap behind the safety car. We'll get a 3-lap dash at the end. Matt Tibbles will gain at the moment about 12 points on his championship rival Kyle. Corey crucially ahead of Kyle, but Corey will, I'm sure, be very feisty on this race restart. J-Luke will be looking for the win himself on the soft rubber. Phil Bardwell, what can he do in P6? P9, keep an eye on him too. He's also on fresh rubber in P5, and Dan the man's got to get raced. See, he's got to beat Kyle here. He's currently 45 points back. 4 races to go after this one. Surely Dan has to get through on Kyle. He has to make that gap reduce just ever so slightly at least if he wants to be in this title fight in the last 2 weeks.
I would mention what the current fastest lap is, but it's kind of irrelevant because it's Corey on a 1:38.4, but he did, I know for certain he did that lap on Inters. So that's going to be a competition in itself in these final few laps. Who is going to get the extra point for fastest lap and who is going to take the race victory here at Suzuka? TGP1 season 34, it's round 18 here at the Suzuka circuit in Japan. We're under safety car and the race will restart with 3 laps to go.
Surely this time the safety car will peel in and we'll see some racing here at Suzuka. Matt Tibbos at the moment on 35 career wins, looking for number 36, but J-Luke on the soft tyres right behind him. We've got Corey, Kyle, Knight and Phil down, who will all feel they have a chance of taking the race win themselves in this 3-lap sprint race, which it really is, with 3 laps to go. Ginger Andy looking very well in P8, got the strategy right at the start for him. Iceman and John completing the top 10, and both racing points that were looking so strong early in the race. Now unfortunately down in 11 and 14.
Surely the safety car will be coming in this time round. I think it will be. There's a green light on top of it, so that's surely a good sign. I think the safety car is in this. Yes, it is. The lights have gone out. So Matt Tibbos now has the duty to back up the field, ready for this restart.
We're about to go racing then. We're about to go racing here at Suzuka for a 3-lap sprint race to the end. Matt Tibbos, J-Luke, Corey, Kyle. Which one of these 4 drivers will be victorious in about 5 minutes' time as the Renault driver begins racing it?
Yeah, he's gone. Oh, no, he hasn't. I thought he'd gone, but he hasn't. J-Luke gives him a little nudge through the Casio triangle, and Matt Tibbos has left it very late. Corey is going to be all over the back of J-Luke, possibly making a move into turn 1. Is he going to try and make it? No, he isn't. Matt Tibbos going to try and fend off for the time being. The front 3, very close together, close to tail, heading through the S-curve, and Speed Knight has got himself up into 4th place, ahead of Kyle. Kyle has been on those, soft tyres, like 5 laps, and yes, 3 or 4.
Oh, Phil's round, he spotted it at the same place Kyle did on lap 1, and the Red Bull driver's gone from P7 to the back of the grid. Disaster for Red Bull here today. It was a beautiful move from Knighton on Kyle into turn 1, had the better speed, the better traction, the better tyre life, and now Knight can start to race on. Look at that, catching up to the back of Corey and J-Luke already. Corey's still trying to get through on the Williams driver. He's got 3 to gain 2 places. Where will he make the moves done? Will he just wait, be patient, get them on the straight? We should see DRS on the very final lap of the race. It's going to be down the man who's now right on the back of Kyle. Kyle himself right on the back of Knighton. So we've got many places to watch here in these closing laps here.
Oh, gee, we're going to see DRS on the final lap, but it's going to be kind of irrelevant if we do get it to enable on the final lap, because where the DRS line is, and there's only one on this circuit, the DRS line is basically right before the finish line. The DRS is not going to be a factor in this
down the man
to the end.
Side by side of Kyle as it comes down to 130 PR. Who will be bravest through this corner? Dunneman's got to go for it. Surely he goes wide. Can't crash out. He's got to be careful, Dunneman. You need the points. He got the move on the inside. He almost thought about it, but Kyle for now holds on to P5 as Corey gets very racy behind J-Luke. These two, just a tenth between them. Dunneman looking very racy behind Kyle, and meanwhile the other Williams of J-Luke defending from Corey. Will we see Dan the man get through here into turn 1? Just a bit too far back, unfortunately for him, but you can see how much quicker he is. 5 laps fresher tyres, those softs.
Yes, they are indeed. Meanwhile, on the penultimate lap, Matt Tibbos has actually got a decent gap. He's got 8 tenths over J-Luke. J-Luke, I think, has been too busy looking in his mirrors at Corey behind him, and rather than focusing on Matt Tibbos, and Matt Tibbos has just been able to build the gap up. Even though DRS won't be a factor, he's already a second up the road.
Matt Tibbos is gaining 15 points at the moment on Kyle. That'll become 16 if he has taken the fastest lap. But Kyle can see Speed Nyan right in front of him. I thought Nyan might actually clear off once he got through the Williams driver, but Nyan is for now just holding on to that position as Corey continues to hassle the other Williams of J-Luke. Lots of battles going on throughout the field. We've got Jack Hickey further back trying to fight, and CJ Hayes the final points. But it is the battles that we should stick with on the 2 laps here as Corey goes full wide. Will that allow, in fact it gives him a time penalty. We could drop him down 3 places at the moment, down to P6, just behind Dan and Kyle. Good news for those two, as Dan now will have a glorious chance again of Kyle. Not got a lot of airs left in his Ferrari. Mo Bauer just saving it for the turn 1, maybe try and get him down into turn 1 with a slipstream and whatever urge he has left, Kyle himself only has 14%, so neither of these two drivers have much battery life going into these last laps.
Yeah, not indeed. I think Corey is going to come across the line. DRS is enabled, but that's not going to be any use to anyone considering where the DRS line is, and there's only one on the circuit. Corey, don't think he's going to be quite close enough to make a move. What about Dan the Man? He's not close enough either. So I don't think anyone's really going to make a position unless they try something mad into the Casio triangle on this final lap, Dom.
Yeah, it should be safe now. Will we see any of these drivers in the top 6 or 7 push a little too hard to try and gain the place? They're probably not going to get a move done, as you said, on this final lap. Not really many opportunities left to do so. I think 130 yards is going to be the last chance, maybe into the chicane. What can Dan the Man do? He can see his championship leader right in front of him. He needs to close that gap down. The gap is 20-45 between these two. Dan the Man will be down to 4th in the championship as things stand. He was 2nd going into tonight. It is that tight between these 4 drivers of Matt, Corey, Kyle and Dan. As Kyle goes a little wide, is this a chance for Dan the Man to get a little closer? Maybe get the slipstream into the next couple of corners. Stick with him, 130 yard, maybe into the chicane, last move. But Dan the Man, I think, just a little too far back as Matt Tibos for now holds on to this race win. Corey's still fighting Jay Luke for P2 and P3.
Yes, they are coming into the final sector for the final time in this race. Matt Tibos is going to comfortably, I think he's just about going to hold on to this win. Jovial Manti's picked himself up a penalty. I think Corey's going to be too far back to make a move. What about Dan the Man? Just going to keep an eye on him. He's actually closing very quickly on Kyle. Is he going to make a move into the Casio triangle on this final lap? He looks to the outside. Kyle defends nicely. I think that's job done. But Matt Tibos in the Renault wins the Japanese Grand Prix and makes it 2 wins out of 2 on the night. Jay Luke is going to come home in 2nd. Then we have Corey dropping all the way down to 5th. Kyle actually picks up a podium thanks to other drivers' penalties and comes home 3rd. Dan the Man is going to come home 4th in the results. Corey is 5th. And we've got Iceman in 6th. Knighton in 7th. Aiden in 8th. And wow, that was a very close and fast and furious end to the race. But unfortunately, quite a lot of safety car interruptions probably made it a bit less interesting than what it could have been in this race, Dom.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, Sedwas did actually ruin what could have been a fantastic race. It was a good race, but we could have seen an even better one without the safety cars, especially staying out for so long. But it is Matt Tibos again who takes the top spot. He was 4th going into tonight. He's now going to be 2nd in the championship. That gap to Kyle has come down dramatically tonight. 2 weeks to go. He's still the chaser. But Kyle, who does still just about keep his lead, P3 here in Japan, a podium position that he'll be very grateful for, despite being dead last on lap 1, thanks to his spin whilst fighting his teammate. But instead, both Williams drivers do make the podium places 2nd and 3rd, so a good night in the end for Kyle.
Yeah, so full rundown of the results. Matt Tibos wins his 2nd race of the night and picks up fastest lap, so maximum points for the Renault driver here at Japan. Jay Luke is going to come home in 2nd, with Kyle picking up 3rd. Dan the Man in 4th. Then we've got Corey losing his podium spot thanks to penalties. Then we have Iceman in 6th, Knighton in 7th, Aiden in 8th, Jean in 9th, and Ginger rounding out the points finishers. Then we have CJ Leclerc in 11th, 12th is Jovial Manti, 13th Jack Hickey, 14th is Phil Bardwell, 15th is Waze, 16th Jake Davis, one of the retirements, and Newgarden was the other one. So, you missed, unfortunately for you, Dom, like we said, you missed a crack of a race in Russia, but it's still a decent race in Japan. But any final thoughts after tonight going into the final 2 weeks of the season?
I mean, just join us. Please join us for the last 2 weeks. What a title fight we got here. 4 drivers with 4 races to go, all fighting for that championship. No idea myself who's going to be victorious. But yeah, make sure you join us for the next 2 weeks. It's been a thrilling night once again, and I'll see you next week.
Yeah, so thank you for that, Dom. Unfortunately for you, technical issues have hampered your commentary tonight, but we have been still instilled with some classic TGP1 races. We'll be joining you next time out at the USA and Mexico round the COTA circuit and the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico. That'll be rounds 19 and 20 of TGP1 season 34. But hopefully you did enjoy those 2 races. I certainly did. And we will see you next time out in USA and Mexico. But thank you for watching and goodbye.